Why am I here? Who are you?
Well, these are questions that many people ask, Mike. But Michael, don't have a seat. You better sit down because this is going to be rough. Mike, you're in a safe place. You're in Manassas, Virginia. You don't get much safer than that. And it's your graduation week. And somehow or another, I've managed to bring you here. And listen, you're going to have some things to get your mind around. One of them is who I am.
Well, I'd like to know who you are.
Well, before I tell you who I am, I want to make sure that you understand that I know who you are. Your name is Mike Clements. You're 17 years old. You're graduating from high school this week. Am I right about that?
Yeah. How did you know that?
Listen, man, I know just about everything about you. I know that you live with your mom and dad in Decatur, Georgia. I know that you love music more than anything else in the world. I know that you have a guitar in your hand or another instrument all the time.
No big deal. Anyone can know that about me.
Okay, I'll get more specific. I know, and you know, that you're allergic to chocolate, and that you always sneeze exactly 3 times after you eat high-grade chocolate. Now, I can tell other things about you, but I'm not sure you're going to want them to hear.
Okay. This is getting weird.
Because we can move on to moles and things like that if you want to. It's not so hard to know things about your life. And here's the clincher that's going to scare you a little bit. I'm you in the year 2013. 44 years from the week that you graduate from high school in 1969. But that shouldn't surprise you because you're from the late 60s and stuff like that happens anyway, doesn't it?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure, go ahead. I'll answer it if I can.
What happened?
Oh, thank you so much. You had to go with the hair thing. You had to go with the bald thing. Just let me tell you this. Life throws a lot of little jokes in your path. And that's been one of the biggest ones for me. And just remember, for you too. It's going to happen to you. And who are they? Well, these are my friends. You know what a church, well, this doesn't look like the church that we grew up in, does it? But this is a church, and we're here on Graduate Sunday, and I'm speaking to the graduates and to the parents, just on this special day in their life.
So, what do you do for a living in 2013?
Well, that's another one of those little jokes. I'm a pastor.
No way.
Wait.
Okay. So, before I wake up, why am I here?
Well, Mike, I don't know. I've just been wanting to speak to you, just to give you some advice as you graduate from high school. I guess everybody thinks that would be a cool thing to do. Listen, I know how excited you are about graduating from high school, going out and starting a new life, just getting out there, being on your own. But as you go, I want you to remember, I want you to be purposeful about letting mom and dad, our mom and dad, know how much you love them and how much you appreciate all that they've done to get you to this place in your life. Because it's going to be hard for them too. Just as hard as it is for you. And Mike, things are probably never going to be the way that they've been for the last 17 years, for you or for them. But you need to let them know that one thing's not going to change, and that's that you are their son and that they are your parents. That's never going to change. And Mike, I know how you think, remember? I know how you think, and you think mom and dad are like immortal and they're going to be around forever and ever. But I have to tell you that it's not true. They're not going to be. And when that day comes, Mike, you're not going to be ready for it. You can be ready for it. So I just want to give you advice, Mike. Make the most of every day with them. Make them a part of your life, even as you go out and start over. Call them, write them. Just stay in touch with them. As you get older, there's going to be a lot more ways to stay in touch with them, believe me. But be sure to do that. And listen, you're going to be faced with every kind of temptation that there is in the world. And I know you've got your life all figured out. You know exactly how you're going to handle things. You know what you're going to do. But the truth is, Mike, well, I'll tell you your plan. You think you're going to go off and you're going to major in music education. And you're going to work really hard to keep from getting drafted, right? And all you want to do the rest of your life is play music. Am I right about that? And that's your plan. But I want to warn you that that may not be God's plan for you. In fact, I'm going to go on and tip you off that not very long from now, you're going to have your plan and God's plan are going to have a head-on collision. And you're going to have to make a choice. Everybody has to, every one of the graduates will have to make a choice. What direction are they going to follow? Your own, or are you going to follow God's? So, you're going to have to be purposeful about making connections with other Christians, or else you'll fall apart. You're going to have to find a church to connect to that makes sense for you, or you'll fall apart. It's never easy. We don't do well on our own, you and I. When we're on our own, we get in lots of trouble. Most of the musician friends you hang around with, they're going to be headed in the opposite direction from you. But that's all right. Because for some reason, you've just never been able to let go of this Jesus thing. And for some reason, he's never let go of you ever. So you don't have to be afraid for that. Just be calm. Am I right about that?
Yes, you are.
Well, listen, this adventure, it's going to go on your whole life, this pursuit of Jesus and him pursuing you. And that's kind of how we got into this situation today with me being a pastor. I know that's weird for you. I promise you, Mike, it's not going to be boring. It's going to be exciting. The older you get, it's going to get more exciting. The opportunities, the experiences that God puts in your way along the way. Some of them are going to be awesome and some of them are going to be awful. And they're either going to pull you closer and closer in your walk, or they're going to make you throw your hands up and walk away. But Mike, please don't do like some of your church buddies. They're already thinking how when they get away, they're leaving this behind. Don't do that, Mike. Please don't do that. It's too precious. And listen, this is a weird thing to say to you at this point in your life. But already start thinking about being the kind of man that enjoys being with his family, sharing his life with other people, enjoying your wife.
We're married?
Well, I know that's hard to imagine, and it's hard for me to imagine. But yeah, we are married. In fact, here, brace yourself. You already know who she is.
I do. Who?
She sits next to you in band every day. Her name is Terry Huggins.
No way.
Way.
No way.
That's who you're going to marry. Seriously. So I want you to start now doing something that I never did. Pray for your future wife. Pray for your future family. Don't just imagine what your life is going to look like. Imagine your life with your family. Start being the kind of person that values that over everything else, except for God. Now, Mike, I just feel tempted to tell you something that I shouldn't tell you. I should let you find this out for yourself. But things are not going to be real easy for you and Terry. They're going to be bumpy. Things that happen so easy for other people, you're going to have to fight to get those things. It's just going to be hard. And Mike, I know that you're not going to throw your hands up and walk away. I already know that. But you're going to come so close. Please don't do that. She is just so ridiculously worth it.
So, do we have kids?
Do we have kids? Well, that's one of those struggles that I was just talking about. But it's going to turn out so much better than you ever could have imagined that it would. And I'm going to go and do something else that I shouldn't do. And I'm going to tell you that she's here. Your daughter is here.
No
right now.
way.
Wait, you need to stop this way thing, okay? Listen, Listen, Mike, I'm not worried about you figuring out who she is because you couldn't pick her out of the lineup if you had to. I don't think, because being your daughter. But anyway, she's graduating from high school this year too, just like you. Isn't that weird? And I tell you, man, when the time comes, you are going to like her every bit as much as you love her. She's so much like you and me. She's a musician. She's a fiddler like Dad was. She's a guitar player like you and me. And the best part is she plays like a guy, not like a girl. And it's great. Being with her is going to be just the best time that you've ever had in your life. But you know, sitting here, Mike, I just realized I've said too much to you already. I've given you too many hints about the future. And probably looking at me, it's already scared you enough to where you may not want to continue life. But I'm encouraging you to do that. Just remember, Mike, that life is hard, but you're going to get through it. You're going to get through it just great. There's so much out there for you. There's a story being written that you're a part of. Don't walk away from that. It is such a wonderful thing. Mike, I hope we get a chance maybe to talk again sometime in the future, but I think right now it's probably time that you get on back with your life. And have a good one, Mike. Have a good one. Oh, wait, Mike, wait. I just thought of just a couple more things. These are personal. Listen, if I remember correctly, sometime this next week, you're going to be going into a pawn shop down in Atlanta. To get that Gibson SG that you've been saving your graduation money for, do me a favor, don't buy it. Borrow $100 from Dad and go on and get that 1955 Les Paul. It's only $100 more. If you'll do that, I'll have one less regret and our retirement will look so much better. And one more thing, Mike. The first time you ever hear the word Microsoft spoken, find out what it means and go and buy as much of it as you can, okay? Thank you so much.